Alright, so this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Jonathan Bermudez, who asked me to do a review of a movie I actually was going to watch, but then I forgot, and then I got backed up with all other stuff, and it just was on my to-do list, and thankfully I finally got around to watching it. That's the thing, when people ask me to do reviews on these Patreon requests, it does take me a while. If it's something I don't know right offhand, it takes me a while to get to, because I do have a life outside of this, out of YouTube, so it does take me a while to get to it. So I do apologize for that, Jonathan. But anyway, so yeah, as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can hit the 4th tier, and you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this. Yeah, so let's get started with this review. So Wendell and Wild was a movie that I think a lot of people were excited for, because not only was it another Jordan Peele project, but it was also a film that was the return of Henry Selick, who most of you guys would know best for Nightmare Before Christmas and Coraline. In fact, Wendell and Wild was the first movie Selnick returned to doing animation for and directing since Coraline. It's actually it was kind of a big deal, and a lot of people were excited for this film. Jordan Peele and the real guy behind, because remember, Burton produced Nightmare Before Christmas, but he didn't direct it. So yeah, he just produced it and presented it. It was Selnick who directed it. So, the guy behind Coraline and Nightmare Before Christmas and Jordan Peele together. That was a great mix. And you know what? It actually was a pretty great mix. This movie really is a great, it's a creepy film, but it's also a fun movie. How I kind of, it's very much like how when we were kids watched Nightmare and Coraline, and it was creepy and could be scary. Well, more like Coraline, I should say. Coraline was definitely creepy for kids, in that you were creeped out by it, but you felt a little tougher after watching it. So that's what it kind of felt like here. So I do feel like Wendell and Wild, some kid's gonna watch this, and then we're gonna have a future goth, when goth kids, circle back around it's not a face, Mom kind of feel. So, there's that. So those who don't know what Wendell and Wild is a film about two demons who are connected to a young girl named Kate, who is an orphan. She's living at a nunnery, and it's hijinks. It's literal just hijinks from there on. I really do like this film. I really do like how this film is put together. I'm always a fan of stop motion. I am very much a fan of stop motion, obviously from and it's kind of cool to see that stop motion is making a big thing on Netflix. Obviously with Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which was the far superior Pinocchio, let's be real. It's also really cool to see how well stop motion has gone, and how smooth and smoother it gets every single time. This film also has some very creepy scenes. There's some very disturbing scenes, and this film, since it's under Netflix, I think it got away with a lot, especially having, and this is gonna sound odd, but it was actually kind of cool to see one of the characters being a trans character, because I guarantee you, if this was done by Nickelodeon or Disney, they would have told Selnick, get that out of there. Don't have a trans kid. Especially Disney. I already know Disney would have been if they made this movie, they'd have been get the trans kid out of there. I'm no, that's really cool that they brought it in there. And there's some great stuff talking about there's some great commentary on religion and how it affects the rich and how it's used as a platform. It's not over your head, but it's definitely there. There's some disturbing scenes, the all the souls being swallowed by the demon, who makes a roller coaster park in his belly. And I was it's kind of an odd scene, and it's a lot of fun. The plot is kind of everywhere, though. I will say that the plot really does feel everywhere in that regard. It does feel like it loses itself and kind of goes in 3 different directions. And while it is funny, I do think there is some great humor in there. I do think there are some points where I'm did that need to be a joke? It's almost like kind of like some things we talk about with the MCU, where it's like, did that really need to be a joke? Did that really need to be a joke? All right, whatever. It's a very... It's a family-friendly film, but it's very much family-friendly since Coraline and Nightmare Before Christmas was, where I guarantee you this, and I'm surprised no one talks about this movie. I'm actually, like, shocked. You'd think with Jordan Peele and Selnick together, that would have been a perfect match, but no one is. I've seen very little people talk about this movie, or then again, I'm just missing that spot. But yeah, if you haven't seen already, go check out Wendell and Wild on Netflix. But yeah, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this movie? I'd like to thank Jonathan Bermudez for this Patreon request. I also like to apologize because this did take me a while to get to, so sorry, Jonathan, that's on me. It just took me a while to finally sit down and watch this movie when I had the time. But yeah, once again, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the 4th tier, and yeah, other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.